To start off, because we are sewing multi-layers of fabric together, we are going to choose heavy woven fabric. And you will see as soon as you get into your stitch out mode, heavy woven, and it's asking for a size 90 needle, which is fine. And on my machine it's telling me to use that foot A. And because it's a heavy fabric, it has automatically set the stitch length to 3. Put that down to 2, because even though you've got very heavy fabric, you still want to have a very tight stitch. My first matching point is going to be here, and remember your priority of matching your blocks is you want to match your fabrics first, because that's your first priority, because that's what's going to show up the most if they're mismatched. Your second priority, of course, is to match the embroidery, and the least one, if it's not going to match up, is when you're joining the cross seams from the two points. So it's with that size 2 stitching, and I do have my IDF foot in place. If you don't have one on your machine, it can be useful or helpful to use a walking foot. So I'm just going to start stitching, and of course, because we're doing a 2 millimeter stitch, you don't have to put knots at the beginning. And I'm now going to put my needle down position, and from here on in I'm going to use my awl or my very pointy scissors to help me to match things up. That point I've already matched, and remember that we are not sewing a 1/4 inch seam, we are sewing on the stitching line that was created with the pattern. And again, here I do have some embroidery here, but in this case it's not really going to show up that much. My main concern is to get these points matched up. I can either do it from underneath here, or using my awl, find my point here and then hold it down. And you can see that there seems to be a bit of a bubble here. This is where I'm going to use my awl to sort of ease this fabric in. I don't know why there would be a little bubble there, but sometimes it happens. And just using the awl to ease that in, that makes a big difference. Now my next matching point is this embroidery pattern. So I've got that to here, and I want to make sure that I get that matched up with that. And remember also that if you are just sewing a very long seam that doesn't seem to have any pattern to be matched up, you still want to be careful to match your stitching line to your stitching line on the other piece. I've got that matched up. And again, I've got all of that embroidery to be matched, and I'm going to make sure that you can see right now that this is starting to sort of go offline. This is where you want to make sure that you have your stitching lines matched up. And there is my last point to match. And again, there seems to be a little bit of fullness on here, so again I'm going to just use my awl to gradually ease that in. And my last point is those 2 points. And before you go any further, check your seams to make sure that you're satisfied with it. And I'm quite pleased with that.